Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Torment. So the last episode, I remember correctly, we discovered the location of the Changing God Sanctuary, and then we turned it in for the to learn the location of one of the character's siblings.
Yes.
Well, not really a sibling, but you know. Oh, wait, here, let's turn in the book we found.
I'm ready to become even more heroic.
Which? Okay. Go. Weird as hell. Just weird.
Fine.
Okay. So,
all right.
Let's go find the person we sent to find. Matkina.
Here I come!
Let's go all, you and me.
The Cave of Last Words.
Who are you? Where did you come from? How did you know where to find me?
Oh, dear.
Making a note.
What the hell is a mirror? How do I enter then? Hardin and Anine heave their flanks and huff behind you. Like you, they've gone too long without rest, and there's Matkina, a much newer Matkina, as drawn by a pandering portraitist. Too soft, too fresh, too pretty, all wrong. On the waste you see the light of campfires, and in the humble village before you, a bigger, brighter fire burns. It's a pyre. Inside a body that's too large, burns too slowly. Greasy coils of smoke rise into the night. Villagers circle the bonfire, wailing and shaking. The headman's rough voice continues the ritual. From exile you are released. Among the mourners some echo, you are released. He throws a handful of powder into the fire, metal salts perhaps, and a spray of shining embers rise into the night, mostly gold, some green, some purple. From wrath you are released. They echo him. As the ember floats out towards the plains that fade among the stars and campfires, you hear Matkina whisper reverently, "You are released." You squint your unnatural eyes and focus until the pyre, the village, and everything else fades away. At last, the blurry campfires resolve into something crisper, and you see the faint shadows of men around them, men in long coats and broad hats, painstakingly cleaning their giselles and daggers. There are perhaps 100 of them. Matkina sees you staring and grunts. Sand knights. From her tone, it's obvious that they are no friends of hers or yours. Let's wait until the ritual is finished. As the body burns and the mourners chant, you wait in the shadows at the edge of the village. At last the corpse is consumed and the headman gives a final cry. To the distant dock you are released. The villagers echo him and then drift away, leaving him alone beside the smoldering pyre. Matkina with a hiss and gesture leads you over. He sniffs the air, and at the sound of your approach and with a broad smile calls out, "Kina!" His eyes are large, milky marbles. He puts hands on her shoulders. You return in unpleasant times. She touches his cheek. I return because the times are unpleasant, Neng. Without another word, the three of you leave the fire and enter Neng's dark hut. Neng's home is a humble and small, hardly furnished and wholly undecorated. On entering, he lowers his weary bulk onto a hassock and gestures towards similar cushions for you and Matkina, then begins without preamble. They hung him from a tree, old Gareb. They took their daggers to him, called it pruning. Blind to others' expression, he has become oblivious to his own. He wears his pain and anger nakedly. With a grunt, he continues, they sent him home by Skimma, along with the compact they made to the plains people. He waves at the crumpled sheet of paper on the floor. Tick read it to me. They promised to put an end to our menace, Kina. He shakes his head. Why? We've always paid the blood price for whatever harm we've done, you know that. They know that. Yes, Matkina says softly, but the Sand Knights won't take shins. You know that. The militia is here to help, Neng. You are who we stand for, the small, the threatened, the hunted. That's who we are too. Come away. If you tell the knights where you are going, they won't force a fight. They have bigger battles ahead of them, believe me. This is our place, Kina. Paz reckon we'll give you a home. Trust her. He heaves a heavy sigh. Maybe that's true, stranger. This hill, this village, it's no more our home than anywhere else in this world. Then he shakes his head, but we can't just go. Akina answers, her voice soft but insistent. Nang, I know this is your home. It was my home, too. But it's not safe here. Paj reckon has sent aside land for all of you, deep inside our territory, where we can protect you. It's not so simple, he answers. Not so easy. Plains people cannot understand. Akina hisses in frustration and gives you a look. It seems she is hoping you can move this stubborn old fool. Nang nods slowly. You're right, of course, even if you've got the manners of a marauder. After a minute, he turns his blind eyes to Makina, but we can't go without the jack. The what? Makina asks. Up the hill behind the gate. The cave's been sealed for generations. Inside is a jack. It's what helps us keep our worst instincts inside. If we leave it song. He trails off, gesturing to the pyre outside. He sniffs the air and nods his head again. I'll tell you now how to open the gate. He describes how each lock must be disarmed, repeating until he's sure you both remember. Now, he says, you alone of the plains people know how to open the gate. You work your way to the terraced hillside, leaving Nang to make his case to his people. In the distance, you see the Sand Knights are on the move, riding hard towards Colne Village. Nang will need to make his case to them, too. When you arrive at the cave, its huge ancient gateway, Makina shakes her head. For years I wondered about this. She says the hill people tell a fable that they're first men and women to come out here. They said that the gate would only open when it was time for the people to disappear. She shrugs. On the one way to keep the kids from poking around and disturbing the jack, I guess. Something she said, stirs your mind and your memories jingle like a wind chime. Oh dear. I failed. The more you try to focus on the uneasiness, the more diffuse it has become, like a fog that turns all sounds haunting, and even friendly shapes into nightmares. You're sure there's something awful hidden in that fog, but it seems as if you'll never find it. Minding the sequence shared by Nang, you disarm the ancient locks that have long kept the cavern sealed. The gate opens with a gasp, and without waiting, Makina steps through. You follow. Inside is no cave tunnel. In fact, there's no stone at all. Rather, it's a smooth hallway made of a greenish phosphorescent ceramic. Under its glow, you and Makina take on the look of the unburied dead. There seems to be no side passages, no chambers, merely a single path that curls ever inward, like you are in the shell of some great nautilus. From time to time, the walls are adorned with lifeless ciphers, arcane charts, even scorch marks, as if from a struggle. They tell no tale for you to hear. At last, you reach the tunnel's end, and there on a pedestal before you is what must be the jack, a kind of reed flute that plays an endless, formless song, at once almost too faint to hear and too haunting to bear. Whether the music is caused by the breeze blowing through the tunnel or by the jack itself is impossible to determine. The ceramic pedestal beneath it, alone of all the devices in the cave, still pulses with living energy. The energy causes the jack to float a fraction of the inch above the air. It doesn't rest on the pedestal so much as hang above it. So, Makina says, Makina, here it is. Examine.
I'm starting to figure this weird place out.
Well, the jack and the wistful wind-blown notes is what you came for. It is the pedestal that draws your attention first. Hidden within some secret mechanism holds the jack aloft, untouched and motionless. As you ponder its workings, you notice something else. A trap. Nestled below the jack is a serrated ring, and tiny ugly bolts of energy lead from tooth to tooth, ready to surge if their field is disturbed. As for the jack, you get the sense that there is more than the music to the mere wind over pipes. Not just tones beyond your hearing range, but perhaps forces beyond sound itself, a deeper harmony that resonates in more than the 30 bones of your inner ear. I failed. Once you begin tapping with the pedestal, there's no turning back. It's alive with arcane energy. Alive with ancient energy, to say. Growing ever more restive and unrestrained under your inept touch. Suddenly a shiver ripples through your body, a physical premonition of the agony that swiftly follows. As violent energy courses through you, you cannot move at all except to shudder. Tash, Makina cries a split second before she responds. Seems a lifetime. As it could have been were her reflexes not so honed, she slams into you, breaking the circuit even as you pass into her. The two of you lie on the floor, trembling and smoking on the ceramic floor. Akina raises first, pulls you up and takes a jack. Let's go. They're waiting for you by the gate. A woman you immediately know to be Padge Reckon and her bodyguard, a half-dozen tattooed cast-offs with drab armor, mismatched weapons, and the languid readiness of predators. Past them in the village below, you see the Sand Knights have arrived and are meeting with Nang and the villagers. Without warning, one of the bodyguards loads his weapon at Makina and fires. She's already moving and takes a glancing blow. A knife is in her hands as another glaive aims a new device. Before Makina can fling her blade, she's frozen, trapped in a shimmering energy. Page herself aims a tiny cipher at the jack. The others watch, paying you little mind. You rush forward, knowing that you have only an instant until the killer's eyes and arms are turned on you. The instant is shorter than you expect, and is the last you know. Pain engulfs you. Your body is flung backwards into the gate, a smoldering ruin that is enough consciousness to know that this is the end. And it's over. You're sloughing off Tasha's body, Tasha's mind, and all is dark.
I'm ready to learn something new.
Mazov's the guy you want. Okay. The cast-off sanctuary. Meal a vest. Three, 4, 3, 1.
I'm ready to learn something new.
Yeah, is there anything in here to loot? Yep.
Let's go.
Alright, so I'm going to leave this episode here, and I hope to see you in the next. Thanks for watching. If you want, there's a playlist to the left, a random video to the right, and if you want, you can follow me on Twitter at CGPoorly.